So, let's look at cybersecurity threat actors and understand their different characteristics. So, cybersecurity threat actors vary in skills, capabilities, and resources, and motivation. So, understanding these differences helps organizations develop comprehensive security controls against these threat actors and also helps these organizations to understand the types of people they are going against. So let's first classify the different cybersecurity threats and the differences in the threat actors. So we have internal versus the external threats or threat actors. So in most cases, people think all security threats are external through different criminals, hackers, competitors who may want to steal organizational information. But the most dangerous threat usually comes from within our organization, most commonly known as an internal threat. So we have both internal and external threats. Then we have also the level of sophistication. So this refers to the amount of skill an attacker possesses. So attackers have different levels of skills, ranging from unskilled attackers who use borrowed code uh, to advanced persistent attackers with a high level of knowledge and can develop different malicious software on their own. So the level of sophistication and the level of skill among attackers heavily differs from the unskilled to the heavily skilled. Then we can also look at resources and funding, where some attackers are just hobbyists or students who just need or who are learning uh, to carry out different attacks. And then they are also the heavily funded, for example, cyber crime organizations, nation states, which are heavily funded and can perform at high levels and a persistent period of time due to the finances they possess. Then lastly, we also have the intent and motivation. As we know, also the intent and motivation of different attackers heavily varies, as some are thrill seekers, that would be the students who are learning how to use these different tools on the internet, and then some who are competitors may intend to steal corporate information, which is referred to as corporate espionage. And then if it's a nation state, these may have political objectives that they want to clarify or to pass through. And then there are also activists who may just need to expose a specific type of information. So different attackers have different motivations. Now, with what we have covered here, we can see that different threats and attacks and threat actors vary heavily. Some are internal, others are external. At the level of skill and sophistication heavily differs. Some are unskilled while others are heavily skilled. The resources also differ. Some are hobbyists while others are heavily funded, like criminal organizations and nation states. And then we also look at the intent and motivation, where some are thrill seekers, while others intend to get financial gain, others intend to get corporate data, and others have political objectives. Thank you very much. That's it about the characteristics of different threats and threat actors. So, understanding cyber threat actors. Security professionals usually face diverse threat actors, as we had explained earlier, with varying skills, resources, and motivations. Knowing who might target your organization helps build effective defenses. So let's look at these threat actors in different detail. First, we shall look at the unskilled attackers and the activists. These are two different types of attackers, and each will be talked about separately. So let's start with the unskilled attackers, who are also known as script kiddies. These are referred to as script kiddies usually because they just download scripts and tools from the internet with the limited understanding on how these tools are created, which they use in their attacks. Script kiddies or unskilled attackers are usually numerous in number, very many, and indiscriminate in their targets. So they target anything they can get their hands on in order to prove their skill. They are often young with limited resources, but are very dangerous due to the widely available hacking tools and their numbers. And usually script kiddies are students, and that's why most of the attacked organizations by script kiddies are education institutions like universities, colleges, etc. So these people are young people who have limited resources and limited skills, but the fact that they are very many in number and do not discriminate in their targets, they are very dangerous. Next, we can look at hacktivists. These are hackers motivated by political or social causes, and they usually believe they serve a greater good. An example of hacktivists are environmentalists, a hacker who is an environmentalist. This kind of person can hack into an organization to expose the organization's activities that damage the environment. So this hacktivist believes by exposing this organization for its pollution of the environment, they are doing the greater good. So the skills of hacktivists vary widely, as some are have limited skills, while others actually security professionals as their daytime job. So some are unskilled while others are heavily skilled. And next we shall look at organized crime and nation-state threat actors. Now, organized crime is where the threat actor is purely motivated by financial gain or making a profit, and they prefer to remain undetected. The reason they would prefer to remain undetected is the fact that they are a criminal, and in case they are detected, they can be put to prison, and they wouldn't want that. So they are motivated by financial gain, and they prefer to remain undetected. Then we have what we call nation-state attackers. This is a threat actor that is highly skilled with lots of resources since they are backed by a full nation, and they conduct advanced persistent threats due to the heavy resources they have. This means that they can create attacks constantly since they have a lot of time, a lot of resources, and a lot of employees that can be put to the task. So, what are the strategic targets these two types of attackers have? So, organized criminals usually target corporations for financial gain, majorly for financial gain, while nation-state attackers will attack other nation-states or governments for political gain. So, let's talk about another type of threat called an insider threat. So this is a type of threat where the threat actor is usually an employee or contractor, but someone with access within the organization. This is a very, very dangerous type of threat actor, as they have unauthorized system access, and organizational knowledge, so which makes them very dangerous. However much they may have limited skills, the fact that they have system access and organization knowledge, they become very, 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 very dangerous threat actors. So their motivation is usually financial gain, in case they are trying to make some quick money out of the organization. Sometimes they are ideologically driven, where they believe what the organization is doing is not right. Others may be disgruntled employees who are not happy at the workplace. For example, maybe they got passed up on a promotion. And the best way to prevent insider threats is through collaboration between the cyber teams and the human resource teams. Constant communication and within the two teams can help to prevent insider threat actors. And the way they can be detected is through behavioral assessments that help identify unusual activities within employees. So as you can see, their way of detection comes back to the way it's prevented, is that both the HR, the human resource teams, and the cybersecurity teams have to work together in order to detect and prevent insider threats. Lastly, we shall talk about competitive threats, where these are threat actors that usually carry out corporate espionage in order to steal sensitive information for business advantage. So competitive threat actors are usually fellow corporations in an industry that are trying to steal sensitive information from a rival business in order to get an advantage. Usually they target customer information, proprietary software, and product development plans. And the business impact or risk this can result into is loss of competitive edge, a loss of market share, and loss of revenue if corporate or sensitive information is stolen. Thank you very much. Let's also look at something called shadow IT. So this emerges when employees adopt unauthorized technology solutions to achieve business goals. These well-intentioned workarounds can inadvertently expose sensitive information to vendors outside the organizational control. So in this case, shadow IT, employees will use different technologies that are not authorized by the organization IT team, but with intentions to achieve business goals. So there are no ill intentions by these employees, which can end up exposing organizational information to different vendors that are outside the control of the organization. So how can we address shadow IT effectively? Because it's common in most organizations. First, we identify, here we monitor for unauthorized technology adoption across departments. We identify the technology adoption that is being used within our organization, what our employees are adopting and are preferring to use. And after that, we understand that shadow IT signals or shows unmet business needs. So when a new technology is being adopted by the employees of an organization, this shows that these employees are lacking some things in terms of their IT system. There is a need they are not being given, hence they resort to personal means. And so another way is we consult. So we work with these users to understand their requirements. After we've understood that shadow IT signals unmet business needs, we talk to these users to understand their requirements and their needs. Once we do that, we implement by providing secure alternatives to satisfy both the user and the IT team. Thank you.